Hey everyone, this is Michael with a general reading intended for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for April 2020. I do apologize that these readings are coming out a bit later this month than they usually do. For those of you who missed my announcement on my community tab and my Facebook page, I did actually have some situations that came up with friends and family members and just in my personal life. And everything is actually fine. It just required a lot of shuffling and a lot of shifting around last minute. But again, I'm doing okay. If I actually seem like my energy is a little bit depleted, I have had some technical difficulties on top of all of that. I actually recorded 6 videos last night and I was only able to use 2 of them because the audio did not work on the videos. So my voice is a little bit scratchy, but I'm just trying to finish up for this month. And I'm actually going to be taking some time off anyway from personal readings and Reiki sessions just for a couple of weeks. I will be back on April 22nd. So for those of you who are looking for a personal reading or Reiki session, I will be available then. I do have links in the description box for all of that, as well as my social media where I'm posting messages of the day on Instagram and on Facebook. And I also have a link for donations for those of you who feel so called. Now, before we dive into your reading, I do also want to give a quick shout out to a friend and a wise teacher and artist. His name is Day Schildkret. He is with Morning Altars. He's actually offering online workshops right now. And he's teaching his process of foraging and creating earth altars and impermanent nature art. And it's such a beautiful practice, especially right now, because his work has centered around this idea of creating beauty in transition and in permanence and even in loss. And with the times we are in right now, with the pandemic and quarantine, it's really just a beautiful time to be doing this work. You can find all of his information in the description box down below for his upcoming workshop that I'm actually going to be attending this weekend on Sunday, April 12th. So come join me. I'd love to create some altars with all of you, you know, see each other virtually and make some art together. I think that'd be awesome. You can find the details for everything and also say hello to him. You know, even if you can't join the workshop, follow him on social media. That still helps all these artists and craftspeople and performers who are really being hit very hard by the times we're in. Obviously, everyone is very, very affected, but these individuals in specific are really hurting right now, and so they can use all the support that they can get. So any bit of love, tell him I said hello, tell him the Waymaker said hi. I'm sure he would appreciate that as well. So all of those links down below. I'm curious to see what we have for you, Sagittarius. And as I'm shuffling here, I do just want to give the disclaimer that this is a general reading, meaning not all of the messages that come forward are going to be meant for you specifically. It is up to your own intuition and discernment to figure out what messages apply to your own life and what should be left behind for someone else. We are going to be doing what is called a Black Mirror reading this month. For those of you who are new to my channel, the Black Mirrors are a good chance at looking at ourselves and good for our reflection, looking at our psychology and our subconscious, and figuring out the ways we may be coming in with certain biases or perspectives, or, you know, having certain belief systems that are limiting to us. So it's a really powerful reading to do for times like these where we're in lockdown, our daily lives have been pretty disrupted. I think it's a good way to kind of check ourselves and where we are at our own growth. So what are the messages for Sagittarius? Oh, that's too many. Let's try that again. What are the messages for Sagittarius? And I do feel like the moon sign in specific is actually really good for these Black Mirror readings because the moon represents our emotions and it's not always visible. It comes in phases, you know, kind of like the subconscious mind. So if you don't know what your moon sign is, I do have a natal chart calculator in the description box down below that should be able to help you out with that. So what are the messages for Sagittarius? Okay, I'll take these. I'll take this. This feels right. So we have the High Priestess as the overall energy, and this is energy I think a lot of the collective is feeling because the High Priestess represents the unknown and the mysteries. And Sagittarius, I feel like with this Justice card, something is still being weighed out. Something is still to be determined. And a lot of us are finding ourselves in situations of uncertainty, either with work, could also be a relationship too for some of you, trying to figure out where it is that you stand. And it's like you want to make this objective decision, but I don't know how well you're going to be able to make that right now. And I do see for you, Sagittarius, that you have the Five of Wands as a blind spot. It's like you're trying to feel out what to do next and figure out what is right and wrong for you, but you're actually... Some of you are actually taking on the opinions or fears or anxieties of other people, and it's affecting the way that you see the situation here. Because these two cards, the High Priestess and Justice, they share this element of perspective and needing to wait before making a decision. Honestly, Sagittarius, I'm getting as kind of a pattern for you, this tendency to make a decision because there's this external pressure to, or to have an opinion on something before you've really allowed to formulate for yourself how you think or feel. And that's kind of interesting, Sagittarius, because you're not normally assigned to do that. Normally you're kind of a sharpshooter, but I think in this specific case, it's not that you're just going with the crowd, it's just you haven't really been able to give yourself time to think how you, or to think or feel how you actually perceive a certain situation. And it could just be the situation we're in at large. Maybe you're still figuring out what is true for you about it. And there's definitely a lot of conspiracies out there right now. There's a lot of different perspectives on what exactly happened and what exactly is going on. So maybe that's part of it for some of you. It could really be any number of ways. We're not so much looking at the external circumstance in this reading. We're looking more at the pattern. You might not be aware how other people's opinions or the conversations or events are impacting the way that you are viewing them. You think you have this idea to yourself. What you're not necessarily realizing is that it could be coming from somebody else, and it could even be as tricky as something as you are taking on the opposite perspective of somebody or a group of people because you don't trust that group. And if you are making a decision solely based off of this distrust, and that could even be government, that could even be something large. And I'm not saying I'm not going to get into that. I'm just saying it can be just as blind to side with something that is opposite, or to take on a perspective that you perceive as opposite to the people around you, or the people that you do not identify with, or the group. And I'm sorry I'm having a hard time getting the words out right now. I've just been speaking so much. I think my words are a little bit jumbled here. I hope you're all understanding what I'm trying to say to you. Your thoughts and opinions may not be your own. So it's really important for this month of April that you're taking the time to figure out things for yourself. And again, that's not just coming from a place of being rebellious either, and just being like, well, that can't be true because that person thinks this is what happened, or these people are saying this is what happened, so it must be the opposite. Really feel it out. And again, this could be in any number of situations. This is just kind of an overarching pattern in your life right now. Interesting. The Eight of Wands is actually showing up as the resolution to this pattern. Or the crack in the mirror, how to break the pattern here. And it's not... This is interesting because it's almost like you're supposed to be talking. You're supposed to be communicating, but you don't necessarily need to have the answers right away. And I know as Sagittarius, it's like you want to get to the truth. I'm a Sagittarius moon. I anger for the truth. It fires me up. I want to know it. I want to have it. But sometimes if we're coming in from this really resistant state with something, we have a hard time finding clarity. I do want to clarify this Eight of Wands just a little bit more. Why is the Eight of Wands here for Sagittarius? What is this resolution? It's not so much about who's right or wrong. That's actually really, really important right now. And for the collective at large, we're seeing a lot of division between people, and that's actually going to grow. Because you're going to be having people who are responding from a place of fear, and they're going to be they're wanting to sacrifice certain freedoms and liberties. And you're also going to have a group of people who are very resistant to that. And the truth is, it's really going to be case by case for a lot of people. And I'm not just talking about social distancing, I'm not just talking about lockdowns, I'm talking about things like freedom of speech, I'm talking about things like civil rights. Those are really going to be things we're going to be seeing a lot. Stuff that's going to be coming up. Kind of in the aftermath of this first outbreak here. Interesting. Knight of Wands and the Moon. This Knight of Wands is actually your card. And the truth is in your mystery and exploring this, the Moon. And really being aware of how your emotions and the energy around you is influencing the way that you're feeling. And not to get into this self-confirmation bias, where you already have an idea and you're just looking for proof to kind of support that idea. Be open. Be very, very open. That's key for you this month, Sagittarius. Be open-minded. Because this is going to be so helpful in communicating your truth to the people around you. It's not by having the answers. It's by willing to explore and engage and be like, huh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Why do you think that way? And maybe you'll actually find something else. Or something makes sense to you. Or you learn something that you wouldn't have done, or you wouldn't have before. You're not seeing how this us versus them mentality is making you miss a point. And, you know, you have the Moon and the High Priestess here on the table. I actually feel like I'm just going to end for now. I don't know what exactly the situation is. I think it's going to be different for all of you, obviously. But this is going to be something for you to consider. I don't think this is going to click for all of you right away. It's going to kind of be in your orbit for a while. So you're welcome to come back to this video later. Definitely leave a comment if you think you figured it out or you have the realization later. I'd love, love, love to hear that. As always, your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes are greatly appreciated because they do help me continue putting out these messages and doing this incredible work, which is actually really a gift to be able to do it at this time. Even if I do have to take some time off, it's not because I don't love this work, it's just I also need to be taking care of myself, and I do trust that it will serve all of you in the long run anyway. But thank you all so much who have supported this channel. It really means the world to me. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care.